Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Taverns of Tiefenthal is a gateway game from North Star Games, and this game came out right after Quacks with Quellenberg. And people were kind of anticipating this game a lot, and then it came out, and it dropped with a huge thud. Boom! And it kind of came, and it kind of went. With North Star Games, this doesn't usually happen. Taverns is a light gateway game, and they broke it down into modules. They had this really easy, very simple game. Then you could add these modules in as you wanted. It all came in the box, so it wasn't like expansion stuff here. So, I mean, it is expansion, but you'd have to pay extra for it. And I think the game is a very good lightweight. It's a dice drafting game, and use that dice to kind of place them on things that you want to generate coinage or beer. The coinage will let you upgrade, which will get you points and powers, and you can do things quicker. Then you have the beer, which gives you patrons, which you can serve them. They give you victory points also, but also you can serve them to get more coinage. And there's kind of this delicate balance that's going on. Can't go too heavy on the boyer, can't go too heavy on the coins, and when do you want to build up, and then when do you want that engine to start hitting, and it all comes together in a very easy to play package. It's a very beautiful game. The components are very good. And I really feel like this is a gem that people kind of passed on. They were looking for Quacks, they didn't get it, they were like, we'll move on, because there's so many games being released. And this is one that I really feel like is very strong, especially in the gateway world. Now, I would bring in, and I didn't do a separate video about the modules, but there are certain modules I would bring in straight from the beginning. I feel like this game had all the modules, and then they kind of cut it back because they wanted a lighter game. This company's known more for party games, mass market type party games, and they wanted that more than they wanted a really good tight game, which I think some of the modules, like the schnapps and stuff, kind of brings that in. I'll put that in a different video. As for just the core game itself, I think it's a very good lightweight game. There are some circumstances where you can draft dice and you got nothing you can do with them, and that kind of stinks. But as you build up your engine and kind of get things moving, you should be able to handle pretty much anything that's rolled with a little bit of luck. And there's ways like you can, if you get a bad draw, you can redo that. You can move up tracks. You can get things that have a wide variety of dice, like a 4, 5, and 6. So there's all kinds of little fun things you can do inside of this. I think it brings a lot of... Now, there isn't a whole lot new here. I think what is new is the construction of the board, how you can flip things over. It's very exciting to do kind of that and to score points off of that. So Taverns of Tiefenthal, I feel like, is a game that you likely missed out on. I would highly recommend you to go back, check this one out. A lot of expansions come with it, a lot of ways to tweak it to your liking. Which is usually a negative for me, but this is one I really, really enjoy. I like going back to it, and it's one of my favorite games about just being in a pub. And the game really brings it across. There are some things that happen in it that I'm kind of like, well, that customer, I didn't give him any beer this round. Would that upset him or something? Why does he come back in my deck and come back later? But if you squint just a little bit, it really does feel like you're running a pub and you're upgrading, you're making business decisions. It reminds me of like a lighter version of Brewcrafters. But I like this one quite a bit, and one I would definitely add to my collection, and one I would tell you to go back and check this one out. Keeper from me. Here is Taverns of Tiefenthal, which you can see is a very striking cover of this pub, and you're going to be doing most of your operations inside of this pub. You're going to have a rulebook, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes, and you're going to just have a blob of mess. There's really no insert to this. You're going to have... what I'll do is I'll kind of spread all this out and we'll take a look at the components a little bit at a time. So these are the cards you'll see. They're rather small, but a lot of the icons on them are very easy to see and to utilize. I do like the artwork quite a bit in this game. These will be the ones of the people coming in to eat. I think the artwork and the cards work fantastic. Here is the main player board that will track the rounds when people come out. It's double-sided. So this will be the easy side if you're not using a lot of modules. The other side, the winter side, will be if you are using the modules. And you can kind of see the turn tracker. It gives you icons about what's coming out. It's very thick and very nice. So this is the player board, and what's kind of neat about it is every tile on it's double-sided. And it kind of sticks together, and if you upgrade it, you just kind of flip it over. So it can easily be put together, depending on what modules you're going to use. It'll tell you which ones you need to flip over and when you need to place them at. But you can see everything kind of fits in really, really perfectly. And I do like this aspect of the board game and how it kind of goes together here. And as you fit everything in, you end up with your own little pub, as you can tell.
Now, in addition, you're going to have some of these dice that you'll be rolling. These dice are really nice. You're going to have some trackers, have some people that will come out. And a little spot there. Everything is double-sided. It's very nice. And then, in addition, you're going to have any number of modulars. Everybody's going to have some of these. You have all kinds of these little cardboard pieces that will come through. Very nice components. You get your first player marker that's put together. It all fits back in the box because there is no really an insert to the game. There's 2 rule books to the game. This one right here is going to be all about the modules and how to add an expansion stuff. And you can add each one. It'll tell you if, I think the 4th one requires more of the modules to be added in and kind of go through. So this will be all the expansion stuff that's included with the game. The second rule book will be the main rule book that you'll have. And you can see there's an overview on the front. You're going to have a picture of setup and all of the components here. And then it'll kind of tell you about the modules a little bit. No picture of the components. There's a downer. And then you just kind of go into how to play the game. Everything is color-coded to showcase the different sections, which is a nice touch. It is a little wordy and things kind of flow over it. I'm not crazy about it in general, but the game is simple enough. And you have a list of icons and symbols at the end, and then any frequently forgot rules. So you'll get through. This is a very simple game, but the rule book does make it easy. Good job. The first thing I'll explain in the basic game will be this board. And what you're going to have here is a round tracker across the top. And this will keep track of what round that it is. And each round, something is going to happen. So in this case, you're going to get one of these tokens. These tokens will let you move up on this track down here 1 spot. Or when you play your cards, you can discard everything and try again. And then each of these spots will give you either an additional card or maybe allow you to have extra dice in or flip something over for free. Down here at the bottom, you're going to be keeping track of how far you can get around this. And there'll be a few benefits for this. But you see a symbol like this with the little circle with an arrow up. That means you can move up on this track. And pretty much it's going to give you like a free card. You can discard a card out of the game, trash it, I suppose. You get a royal card, which is worth 10 victory points. If you give up 9, 14, or 18 beer in a turn, you can get more royals, big ways to score victory points as you're going through. So that's kind of what this is going to be. Just a track for all of the players and a round tracker up here. And it gives you the icons on which of the goodies that you'll get that round. Here is your player board, and this is what it'll look like when you set up for the base game. Everything on the board is upgradable by paying the cost that's on it. So this will cost $15, but if I give up a chair, I'll get a $5 discount on it. And then when you upgrade it, you flip it over. Instead of having 3 tables, I now have 4 tables to serve people at. And each of these spots are going to be like that. So this one right here, I'll give you one more example, costs $12. But if I give up a server, I get a $4 discount. And you flip it over, and I get a server every round. And so that's how the game is going to kind of flow. So every part on here that's kind of flippable, except for this part right here with the bartender, that's used for a module, is upgradable. And that's something you can spend your money on. So each round of players will have a starting deck that they'll have when the game started. And what you'll do is you'll turn over the top card. And if it's a person, you put them up here in a table. And then they'll be able to do that. Once you have all of the tables full, you are done drawing. Another scenario would be you would draw cards that are not people sitting at a table. And you would just put them next to their location. And if the person comes out of the table, you put them there. The good thing about having people come out is they're going to give you bonuses as a game. Once all the tables are full, then you stop drawing. Then the next thing is to do, each player is going to roll their dice and put them up here on their little trading thing here. So, and what's going to happen is you're going to draft dice. So what's going to happen first, you're going to draft a die from your location and put it underneath yours, and this person over here will draft theirs. Then you will then draft from another person's as they will cycle through, and they'll draft one from yours. Then, in a 2-player game, you'll come back to yours, and you'll draft, and then you'll draft the final one. And you'll end up with a collection of dice. Then what you can do is you're going to place the dice out. Each of these locations will require a dice. So let me pretend like I had drafted a 2 dice. If I had drafted a 2 dice, and one of the patrons are requesting a 2, I can put a die on there, and it will give me 2 coins for the round. I don't physically get those coins, I just have to spend them this round. Now, if you look down here, I'm able to store up to 2 dice, or 2 coins, until the next turn. If I were to upgrade this, I can store up to 5 between turns. Now, if you look over here, this will require 1 or 6, and it'll produce 1 beer for me. Now, because it has ... on it, I can put as many here as I would like, where this one has a one time. I can only put one there to produce a beer. So I'm going to produce 1, 2, 3 beers for the round, which I can spend. I'll show you we can spend those on in a minute, but understand I can hold up to 2 over from round to round. Unless I upgrade, then I can store up to 5 per round. So these upgrades are really going to help you out. Now the server over here is kind of interesting. She has a plus dice. So you're also going to have 3 dice in your color. This is a maximum amount that you can have. So what she's going to allow me to do is take one of my own dice, roll it, and now I have this dice to also spend. Maybe I would want to go here and get an extra coin. If I go here on the 5 dice one, because it has that symbol, I move up on this track that I've already told you about. There are other cards like this one I would place down here, and it would give me 1 beer for every die that I place there. An extra chair could be placed up here, and then when I was drawing cards, I could have drawn additional cards to come out rather than having to stop with the 3. The other cards available is this guy, and you would place him here, and he simply brings you a beer each round. You don't have to place any dice there. He's just going to bring you a beer. The other guy is the dishwasher, and basically he's going to allow you to add 1 to any die that you play this round. So my 3 could have been a 4, let's say. Or one of my 1s, I could have changed, if I had a dishwasher, into a 2 to get coinage instead of beers. So that's all of the cards that you're going to have. So what are you going to do with your money? Each game, these cards are going to be available for purchase. If you look on the top left corner, it's the cost. That's how many it cost me 4 coins in order to buy this card, and it will give me 1 victory point at the end of the game if it's still in my deck. When you purchase a card, you simply spend the money and you put this on top of your deck. It'll be the first card you draw next time. The second thing you can do is what I've already explained, which is paying to upgrade your rooms. The good thing about upgrading your rooms is when you upgrade a room, you will also get a noble, and you'll be able to put a noble on top of your deck. Now the noble is worth 10 victory points, so it's the most powerful victory point card in the deck, and you get to put it on. The really good thing about nobles is when they're drawn, they will sit on a chair. So let's say here, you drew a noble, and you drew another noble. Nobles don't get a second chair. They always like to sit together. So as many nobles as you draw, they're able to sit in the same table and kind of discuss things. They like to be together. So they clog up your deck a little bit, but this advantage here keeps them from clogging up your deck, and they're worth victory points. They're probably the best cards to get if you can get those, and you'll get 1 each time you upgrade a room for free. You will also gain them by giving up beer here to gain them or moving around on this track. Now that I've explained what to do with money, let's talk about what you do when you produce beer. Now you always have these 3s that are available. There's a deck of these that will be out always, and then you'll shuffle up the deck and draw 4 out. These are available to all players. And what you're basically going to be able to do is if you produce this amount of beer and you want to get this patron, you can give up this amount of beer. It will score your victory points if this is in your deck at the end of the game. If there's a goodie in the middle, which some of these do not have, so this one that I picked out will give you a free chair. This one will not. Then you put this on top of your deck, ensuring it'll be the first card drawn next turn. And then on your next turn, you can put a 4 in here and get $4. So these will produce more and more money for you as go and are worth victory points at the end of the game. But you need to entice them by producing more beer. After your turn is over, you would discard all cards that are played into a discard pile, and you'll be ready for the next round. Remember, you can only store so much gold and so much beer from round to round. Once all 8 rounds are over, everybody counts the victory points of the cards in their deck, and the most victory points is the winner. And that's how you play Taverns of Tiefenthal.
Who should buy this game? Anybody looking for a gateway level game and you like the idea of building and running and upgrading a pub, and you feel like, hey, that might bring some of my friends in to play this. Or you're looking for a light game. There's an expansion out for it. There's 4 modules inside of this box. You can kind of use the tweak or just shake things up. Dice drafting, it plays well with 2, 3, or 4. And it's very interesting. You have different strategies you can go down depending on what you choose to do in the game and which of the modules you choose to include. Lots of variability. It has good replayability. This is a really good game. I would tell you to go back and check this one out. Taverns of Tiefenthal is a win for us, Keeper.